Nice. Okay, let's begin with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody to the October 21st Marion County Commission meeting. As always, we begin with public forum. So if there's anyone that would like to make public comments, please come forward.
Good afternoon. I'm Brandy Smith. I spoke at the meeting that we had several weeks ago and read this to you. I'm going to take advantage and read it to you again. In August of 22, Congress passed the Inflation Reduction Act, H.R. 5376, authorizing an additional $20 billion for conservation programs administered by DOA. These programs are programs like CRP, Environmental Quality Improvement Program, Agriculture Conservation Easement Programs. Landowners have been using these programs since 1985, which they were originally created to improve soil conservation, water management, and other productive purposes. However, while the names of the programs have not changed, the purpose for the funding has changed significantly. The new funds under H.R. 5376 have been allocated to mitigate climate change, control agriculture production, and reduce livestock emissions. The Department of Interior includes conservation easements in perpetuity on private lands as part of the 12% of lands in America that are currently permanently, quote, protected. When a landowner places their land in CE, they are selling more than just the development rights. They are transferring control of the property to the land trust or the federal government, who will now ensure the land is managed for the priority of the conservation purpose. The landowner may still hold the title, but they no longer have the functional control of the property. While some agriculture activities may continue, these are limited to the existing activities and levels that are specified when the contract is finalized. This prevents the agriculture operation from adapting to changes in nature and technology as they formerly would to ensure land management practices and profitable business. Once again, I would say that this is not about conservation. This is about conformity, confiscation, and control. And by you voting this down, you basically told every landowner here that has private property that you don't care about their land. These are the back door that they use to go to this. This prevents eminent domain and public scrutiny. And if you do your homework, you'll find that out. Thank you.
Could you repeat your name for that?
Brandy Smith.
Thank you. Okay, other public comments? If not, is there anyone online? Doesn't look like it. All right, we will close public forum and move into administrative agenda approval. Any additions to the agenda? Not agenda be approved, and we will move into administrative. Ashley.
He must have something first.
Oh.
In your packet, we have the next pay application for the health department. So I would like to have approval of that before we move into the early checks and all the rest of that.
Commission had a chance to review the application. Any questions? Okay, if there's no questions, is there a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve it.
We have a motion from Commissioner Crowfoot to approve the application on the Marion County Public Health Building. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Dahlke. Questions or discussion?
And there's some electrical on that line item, so abstain.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. If there's no other questions or discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Abstain.
So 4 in favor, 1 abstain. Just at the bottom.
Yep, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll do early checks in the amount of $169,260.67.
Questions on the early checks? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Garing. Questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
On this, fund account, like on your work detail, Fund 180 on the back, we just need to make sure that that description gets changed, because it says transfer station, but it should be health.
Ah.
As we reused that same line, I just need to update it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Next, we have the minutes of October 15.
The commission's had a chance to review the minutes. Any changes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion if there's no conversation.
Motion by Commissioner Dahlke, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
And that's all.
Okay, Tina?
Okay, I did have the report in your packet. And some documentation in there. I have a road crossing permit that was in your packet for approval.
Trench through the road.
Mm-hmm.
We don't normally allow that, do we?
No, we don't. I just wonder what road it is and dirt road, rock road, what it is.
50th, once in
I
6th.
know, but I didn't
Yeah,
make
I don't
that
know.
there.
I haven't been able to do that.
It is, it says it's upland, half miles south of 60th.
Is it a water line?
Salt water line? Yeah, it's a H&H oil.
Oh, there we go.
Are they putting in a new election?
I can just schedule Road and Bridge in here if you'd rather have them speak
I
to
think that
that.
would be a good idea. Answer some questions.
Well, we've told rural water that they can't trench through the road. We've told a few of them.
Well, so, yeah, generally we don't allow it. There are some locations with Road and Bridge where they do allow it if it's,
It's a dirt road or, yeah, I could see that.
but I don't know the specifics of this road, so.
Can trench through gravel.
Well, you can, but it's just, it never goes back right.
Right.
All right, so you wanna just maybe table it?
Table it for, till the next meeting, get more information. We want to be consistent.
That's my only concern. I don't need to get done, but tell somebody they can't and go ahead and allow somebody else to do it.
Okay. On the table, you have a resolution in the past for the regional solid waste plan, the 5-year plan that Josh brought in here on July 22nd and you all approved. The state has accepted the minutes of that in the past, but this year they now are saying they want a resolution to approve that plan. And so the resolution is presented there on the table for you. It's to approve the 5-year solid waste management plan presented by the South Central Kansas Regional Solid Waste Authority. I don't know if you want me to read it or if you just wanna look it over.
I think we can look it over and it's on the screen.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not, because it wasn't in the packet, it was
Oh,
just
okay.
done this morning, so.
Since it's not in the packet or on the screen, let's read it.
Okay. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Marion County, Kansas is authorized by KSA 12-2901 et sequitur to cooperate with other counties based on mutual advantage and thereby provide services and facilities in a manner and pursuant to forms of governmental organization that will accord best geographic, economic, population, and other factors influence the needs and development of local communities. Whereas the South Central Kansas Regional Solid Waste Authority has been formed and includes Harvey County, Marion County, and McPherson County. Whereas the South Central Kansas Regional Solid Waste Authority 5-year solid waste management plan was reviewed and presented to the Marion County Board of Commissioners on July 22nd, 2024, and was approved by motion and vote on that date. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Marion County, Kansas, that the plan is further approved and adopted through the passage of this resolution, number 2024-22, in accordance with Kansas Administrative Regulation 28-29-78E on this 21st day of October 2024.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Any questions?
Pretty much mirror the agreements we've had in the past.
We have never had to do a resolution for this before. So the plan was similar to the, I mean, you've looked at the plan. I asked for an example resolution, but nobody had one because we've never done it before. So
Okay.
that is just from me.
Pretty straightforward.
Yes.
We usually just do it a lot more, less informal.
Right. We have been doing it informally for,
Formalizes it.
right.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Goering to approve resolution 2024-22, approving the 5-year solid waste management plan presented by South Central Kansas Regional Solid Waste Authority. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Dahlke. Questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
But that's the one they'll sign when it's your turn, when it's time. Oh, it's this one. Sorry. The last, very last statement. Okay. Sorry about that. Today feels like Monday. I don't know about anybody else. It kind of feels like Monday to me. Okay, let's see. Reminder about the regional meeting tonight. In Council Grove. I did have on items for future consideration and or discussion. Typically, we have not met on the Monday right before the election. So that would be November 4th. Is everybody in agreement that we would not meet on?
Any opposition? We will be having a payday on the 31st, which is a Thursday.
Yeah, so we'll meet 2 times that week before.
Not seeing any opposition, I seek board consensus that we do not meet
Okay.
Monday before election.
That gives your election officer the time that she needs to prepare and finalize everything for voting. Today we received the pilot payment from Enel in the amount of $269,325. That's for Diamond Vista. And I believe that's all that I have for administrative.
All right, thank you, Tina. Kim,
Yes, thank you.
welcome, we're pleased to have you here
Good
today.
afternoon, I'm glad to be here.
Good afternoon.
Kim Ratzlaff, I'm the Executive Director at Safe Hope. And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's our first one in years that we have put out in a proclamation. We will do this sooner next year. So, right? Yeah, we're gonna try that. I'll read the proclamation then if it's okay.
Maybe
Would you?
Before you read it, since we have several people in the audience maybe don't know about Safe Hope, give us a little background about what you do and your mission and how important it is to Marion County.
Absolutely, thank you, and give me a minute and I take a mile.
I know,
Cut me
it's
off.
maybe a half an hour.
I know, I'll be fast.
Yes.
We have staff in Newton, Marion, and McPherson County.
Yes.
And
Excuse me, keep it down. We're conducting a meeting
There's no seat to sit down on.
and don't talk.
Oh, don't point your finger, you're so rude.
You want me to remove you?
Video going out in the hallway.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I guess
We
we
can
didn't
probably
get my
find
vote
some
today.
chairs,
There's
or
no
if you wanna
video.
stand inside.
Not during voting hours.
That'd be great.
And please do not speak while someone has the floor.
There's some space over there too.
this chair, technically my chair is open because we'll leave.
Sacrifice her.
Kim, I apologize for the rudeness.
No, our staff provide advocacy for those that might be suffering from domestic violence, sexual assault, mass violence, teen dating, stalking. Human trafficking, yes. And I right away want to point out Dee Nelson is our sexual assault
I come here.
coordinator, and she covers all 3 counties for us. I'm based out of Newton and travel around McPherson and Marion. And then Heather Murrow is standing right behind me. She's our community engagement coordinator. Pretty new in the agency, but I'm really pleased to say that finally our staffing is very stable. We had a couple of years where turnover was a bit of a problem, and we have really stabilized. I think it has improved the services and the level of advocacy that we're able to give. We still have the shelter in Newton that can house men, women, or children that are needing to immediately flee from domestic violence, and often transportation can be a problem coming in from Marion or McPherson, but we also utilize hotels on occasion as needed depending on our funding level. So we really appreciate the support of the community. While we are very grant funded, we also rely on assistance from the community for the programs that we offer. So that's kind of us in a snippet.
Appreciate it.
Shut me down.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
people were able to hear your presentation.
Absolutely. I wish, I've been there over 4 years. I wish it wasn't a service that had to be offered, but it is needed. It is still needed, even though I think we're all doing a better job of helping our neighbors understand where there can be help. It's still a needed service.
And you are on the call list for the sheriff's departments of all 3 counties and stuff like this.
Yes, good point, very much so. And I think as we talk about recognizing the work that's done in this field by our partners, we couldn't do as good a job as we do without support from the police and sheriff in all 3 counties. Absolutely. And then if you'd like, I'll read the proclamation. Do you want to read the last paragraph?
If you would read what you, and I'll
Okay.
finish it off.
All right. Whereas October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, a time to draw attention to the prevalence of domestic violence, we know that the violence impacts people of all age, ethnicity, nationality, economic status, and belief. In Marion County alone, just last year, Safe Hope provided services to 65 women, men, and children affected by domestic violence. Whereas victims of domestic violence are deprived of autonomy and security, facing threats to their health and safety, in many instances finding themselves left with significant financial insecurities. The crime of domestic violence inhibits our community from reaching its fullest potential. And although great progress has been made in bringing awareness to and providing protections from domestic violence, much work remains. whereas the county affirms its dedication to providing a community where no one suffers the pain and hardship caused by domestic violence, and recognizes the criminal justice and victim service providers who work tirelessly to prevent and respond to the needs of those affected by domestic violence.
Very, very well said.
Thank you.
Any questions for Kim? If not, I would move to approve the proclamation of Domestic Violence Awareness Month for October 24. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Your work really does make a difference
We appreciate
in our
that.
community and to the lives of people.
We appreciate that, and we'll keep doing
Thank
what
you.
we're doing.
Is your caseload up or down or same or?
Oh, that's an excellent question. The actual numbers of clients or participants that we're serving has slightly down. The number of services that we provide are higher. They continue to do this, and I think it's because the intensity and the complexity of the situations are there. I'm not really sure. We don't know how to analyze quite why the numbers are down as far as the individuals. But we know why the number of services are up because of the intensity of the court cases and the number of calls and the type of assistance they need. Yeah, so outreach is an important part of what we do to make sure that the community knows we're around. So if they need help, they'll call us, and it's still confidential, free, and voluntary to the community.
Are the court cases moving faster or slower this year?
I think a little faster, yeah. You're saying they're stalling?
Mine are totally different.
Yeah.
Because the sexual assault is a totally different ballgame.
But I hope they're moving along a little better. The protection from abuse order seems to go through a little bit faster than they were a couple years ago, for sure.
Any other questions? If not, thank you again for all your work for the
Thank you.
community.
Appreciate it, Commissioner. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be earlier next year.
Sounds great. Have a good day.
Tina, if you could bring in the fire chiefs. It's the hot seat.
Good deal. More people here than I expected there to be.
All here for you.
What I gave them was just this last quote that you sent.
Okay, all right.
So if you wanna give them any background or whatever you wanna do, it's fine.
I do have just a little packet of some pictures if you want to click in.
Like pictures.
Pictures are always good. Pictures are always good. We had an event earlier this year. I didn't write down the exact date, but it was in May. Yep. In May, we had an event. We invited all the fire departments, primary rescue, and as well as all fire departments in the county. We had 3 vendors show up with new rescue tools. Just a little bit of background on that. Our current rescue tools we're using are Hirsch tools. We've had them for approximately 12-ish years. They're not wore out, they're not broke down, they're good tools. But they're tools from basically a different generation of vehicles. Their vehicles are being built differently now than they were then, and so we need a way to keep up with that. So I'm here to propose purchasing 4 new sets of tools. We have 5 primary rescues in the county right now. One of those rescue units came on just last year with Gossel, or the year before, and they got new tools, so they're in good shape. They have current tools already. The other 4 departments have the tools that are, like I say, approximately 12 years old. So the idea here is to take the tools that we have and update them to current tools. And ideally, we would have then 4 other sets of tools that we can pass down to the other departments in the county. That's not gonna cover all the departments. We need to kind of work out who's gonna get what. But there's a Fire Chiefs Association meeting tomorrow night. Can get discussed there, and we can start to kind of figure some of that out. So that's kind of where we're going with this. And like I say, we got together. I counted. I have the roster here. I think I counted 27 names that were not vendors that showed up from all around the county. So we had a really good turnout. As you can see in the pictures, there were several people there. We had a really good turnout. So as we went through this process, we looked at all the tools. We had hands-on time with all the tools. We had several vehicles we were able to cut up. We spent a good amount of time that evening just being hands-on with the tools. We had a lot of discussion about it. From that point on, we then met as the primary rescue departments to kind of get an idea of what tools we wanted to select out of these 3. Obviously, price is a major factor in anything we do. I withheld all pricing to discuss what tools the departments liked. And it came down pretty quickly to 2 sets of tools. We already have the Hearst, and we tried out the newest Hearst. The TNT tools, which I believe is the quote that you have there, which is the rescue specialists. Came down to those 2 pretty quickly. When we factored price in, the rescue specialists, TNT tools came out on top. So, talking with Tina, trying to figure out what's the best plan to try to proceed with this before we bring it to the commission. She informed me that you all probably would not be very willing to front us $100 and some thousand to buy a bunch of new tools. And so we came up with a plan B that I think is really, really solid. We decided maybe we can purchase 4 sets of tools. It sounds like with the money that we will have available at the end of this year.
Really the beginning.
Really the beginning of next year, yes, thank you. So including next year's budget, we would have enough money to purchase this kind of basic 4 sets of tools. It's a cutter and a spreader, and then we just take that times 4. There is also a ram that we would like to get to complete the purchase. We would likely do that with the following year, so that would be the 26 budget. The way the numbers work out now, pending there's no major price increases, which is hard telling, obviously. We anticipate that we should be able to purchase the remaining sets of rams in the 26 budget. So, ultimately what we're proposing is 4 sets of tools to replace the older 4 sets of tools we have now. And then in the future, we'll go with the set of rams. And throughout this, then we'll disperse our current tools down to the other departments as
They'd be refurbished.
they would be referred. Yes, thank you. So as part of that, the tools that we have now are, like I said, they're good tools. They're not broke. They're not worn down. They've not really been touched in the amount of time we've had them. I don't know if it's in there. I brought just one quote that I got, and this quote is really, it's just a generalization of what it could cost, I guess, ultimately. But to refurbish the 4 full sets of tools could be approximately $2,500. So that's really over the course of 10 to 12 years. That's not a big price.
Pretty cheap.
So we would like to refurbish these tools before we pass them on. How exactly we do that is maybe a little bit unforeseen at this point in time. I would anticipate that we would get the new tools in, train with those before we let go of the other tools, and then get them all refurbished at one time, hopefully to save a little money kind of in the long run. So,
With significant discounts
yeah.
buying 4 new
Yeah, there was, so there's, I think, on
$7,000. Yep.
$7,000 discount, yeah. So, yeah, it's,
Through it all.
there's, with all of them, with all the vendors, there was pretty good discounts with the more tools you buy. This is what we came up with that we could afford. And this is where we're at.
You have to pay for them up front,
Yes.
so you're not going to order them then till
So,
January.
talking with the vendor, our dealer is out of Salina. He's kind of his own company. He's got some people that work with him, but he's a full-time firefighter for Salina. So this is kind of his side job, you might say. I just talked with him this morning, and basically what he told me is the tools are about 8 weeks out right now. So we're not gonna see, even if we order today, we're not gonna see anything until at least the first of the year. If we could get a commitment to purchase today, that's good enough for him to go ahead and order the tools. He won't bill us until the tools arrive next year. So he won't bill us until after the first of the year.
So I will chat with you about the budget and the ramifications for the budget. So I did give you the budget today there for the rescue line item. So they didn't use the funds last year, which was 26,000, which we put in this current year, we moved it over. So 52,000 is available in the current year budget. We have 35 in the 25 budget, and as you know, that's 87,000. So this is higher than the budgeted amount for those years. And then also, if you add the 2,500 approximately for the refurbishment, you're looking at 92,260, which is 5,260 approximately over the budget. The thing that is important here is that if you make a commitment to buy it, even if they're not billing you till next year, that goes against this year's budget as soon as you approve it, from cash basis law, budget law for Kansas. So you will, you could still do it. There are options, like if you decide to fund it from a different source for this year or to cover it. I mean, you have funds to cover the amount. It's just a matter of how we reflect it on the bookkeeping, because it would have to be encumbered against the current year, even if you're not planning to receive it till next year. So, and then you would have options of, if you want to spend the full amount, which is over the budget, you would have to come up with an alternative funding source for those extra dollars anyway, so.
So what you said was 92 what?
92,260 if I just add $2,500 to this quote that we have in front of us. So we're at 5,260 over the.
Well, is that something that the fire districts could cover? I mean, between all the fire districts? I'm not talking about the big.
Well, I know when Gossel got their tools, they did pay the difference for.
Or at least those that are gonna have access to the refurbished equipment.
This brings up a bigger issue, which is gonna be coming to you guys eventually, of how rescue money is not kept up over the years. The overall budgeted amount has not kept up with the cost of tools, with not even close to half of inflation, if I did the math right.
Another source for that 5,000 would be maybe risk management.
As far as your question, I'd hate to really speak on that. I can't speak for any other departments. I don't know where they're at with things, so.
I'm just thinking for what they're gonna get down the road, it's pretty cheap.
You also have to look at, so when Gossel 2 years ago, I think we paid approximately $4,000 towards, because we wanted a complete set, okay? Matt's not proposing a complete set already. The RAM would be additional down the road. And also, you have to consider the budgets of the smaller departments that will be getting these refurbished tools. The valuations are lower, less houses, less population, of course. And so their budgets are considerably lower than what a Hillsborough or Gossel that Peabody would be. So if you ask them to help pay, proportionally, that's probably a bigger burden on them than it would be.
Or you'd have to find out a formula that would reflect that valuation.
Yeah, or find a formula that would, an equivalent of.
I guess from my perspective, I'd say you've done a really good job of researching and pricing and finding equipment that has a tremendous value to the entire county, entire community. We have a way of you've been trying to work with the county. I think the least we could do is cover to 5,000 management and find out some way to make it work.
So moved.
Oh, I think let's give Commissioner Dalkey a chance.
How are you, I mean, if we do order, we don't have it on the budget this year, like you said.
We have 52,000 in the budget.
Correct. So how
So it would show there are ways that you could do it. You could utilize the 52,000 that's budgeted this year, like you can state this in your motion. You could have the difference come from the general fund or from another source, and then to be replaced and paid back January 1st when the next round, the 35,000 would be placed into the so we'd basically be using all their funds, but it's just the way that we pay it out and how we reimburse the county.
you'd have to
So basically, it would be reimbursing the general fund.
you would state that the remainder then would be come out of next year's budget.
Yes, and then that 5,260 or that amount, keep in mind that none of this reflects any shipping costs or anything like that, and that's always a little bit more than what is shown on the quote. So additional costs would be designated to come out of risk management for this purchase.
Fire chiefs, you guys got 12 years out of the equipment and still in good shape. Does this new brand just as good as the other, has as good a warranty and all as the other brand that we bought?
Warranty was actually one of the biggest motivations.
That's why we chose this equipment, because the warranty was outstanding.
They have in writing a warranty that states that it's a lifetime warranty. And it's transferable.
So one other option might be worth mentioning is if the county wanted to do a lease purchase on the equipment, potentially you could approve the entire, like the equipment they're asking for now, plus the other part of the set that they're gonna be waiting till 26 for budget. You could do a lease purchase on it, and then we would have the funds within the budget now to cover that payment, and then we could work that out for the next
That makes a lot of
3
sense.
years or 4 years, so that's another option.
To go back to your question, Randy, Harvey County is slowly moving into this brand, so,
I didn't have heard of.
yeah.
We had also talked with Hutchinson Fire Chief a while back on an unrelated issue, but had quizzed them what tools they're using. They are actually using the same tools that they're using for their services. It's not a new company.
It's not a new company, it's a good deal.
So the Rams, are we looking about just right around 35,000 for the 4 sets of Rams, correct? So where the total amount was about $124,000.
The Ram, what number did you say on that?
About 35,000 for the Rams and the accessories.
Yes.
Which would fall into the 2026 amount, potential amount that we would budget for rescue. So
If that was done, and you go 25 and 26, I mean.
It is what it is to get it. Yeah, it is what it is with our budget we have, so.
You guys are speaking. That's.
Several years ago, we got a lot of the smaller stuff that we needed, kind of anticipation that this would be a several year budget purchase coming up.
And we did up the budget
for 2025 and
for 2025, yeah, but it can
We appreciate that very much.
Yes, we do.
still be discussed for 2026 when we get there.
The lease purchase would be to the county,
Yes.
fire district's making the payment.
Well, the county would make the payment and then we would just
Reimburse
reimburse
throughout
out of the
through budget.
rescue funds.
The county rescue is actually a separate entity that you guys contract with the fire districts.
So it would be on us to take care of all that.
Still think it's a good route to go.
So, commission,
Did you vote yourself into something?
I did. The equipment is, if you don't have one piece sometimes when you're out on scene, you know, you're helpless sometimes, so. I think they're asking for it with the primaries right now, right? So,
Four of the primaries.
four primaries, or five.
There are five now.
Yeah, for the primaries, so put a package together, you do the lease purchase and it gets paid through us. I mean, it still gets paid through their budget and stuff like that. So, I think we need to move forward with it as far as I'm concerned.
Not in favor of the lease purchase. I mean, the interest rates. I'd rather just pay it out of the budget with risk management.
So then you'd still split the purchase, cause we couldn't fund I wouldn't recommend trying to fund all of the tools that they're asking for out of this one transaction.
I think for cash management purposes, the lease purchase is the way to go.
I'm actually really comfortable with that idea.
And it's a very short period of time.
Yeah.
That helps alleviate the interest.
Plus, you know, we got plenty of banks in this county that will do that.
Yeah,
Well,
if we purchase
okay.
arrangements with these, we might even get a better price.
So originally when I got the initial quote, this all gets very complicated very quickly because there's different tools and getting everything lined up. I have a quote, that has 4 cutters, 4 spreaders, 4 rams, and 4 accessory kits. There's some additional items on here that I asked them to remove. But with 4 toolkits altogether, which is a total of 12 tools. 12 tools. There was a $10,000 discount. So yes, the more tools you add, the greater the discount.
Which would offset the,
Which would offset the interest.
There we go.
at least part of it.
I just struggle with the interest rate right now. Unless it's
You've asked
my
for
savings
free
account, then I don't struggle with it.
The freight is actually included the shipping is included in most of this.
What price?
Yeah, but it says 500 and usually it's traditionally it's been a bit more.
It could be, yeah, there's a potential to be a little more. I don't know how conservative he was with that number when he did that, so.
I mean, hopefully it's all inclusive and we
Well,
can
you
just
can't
say,
ship much
hey.
for 500 dollars.
What's that?
You can't ship very much for 500.
No, you can't.
This is heavy.
Right, there's a lot of weight to it,
And
it'll,
there's batteries.
there's batteries involved and there's a lot of bits and pieces to it.
Special shipping.
There's not bigger bolt batteries, I mean, where it'll be. I was surprised at
It's
18.
amazing how much power you can pack into a
So
battery.
what's your total bid for everything?
So this one that I have here, like I said, this isn't accurate because it has some additional pieces in it that I asked them to remove. It came out to $123,460. But that's with 16
2,400.
2,400. However, the cutter that's on this initial quote is not the cutter that we chose to go with. So
I would say
like I
that,
said, there's a lot of moving parts to this.
You need to come back next week.
I would say it would be safe with, approving a total of, well, I don't wanna say. I was gonna say not to exceed 125,000 for the tools with the lease purchase and then paying the refurbishment costs separately, potentially out of the current year, rescue budget. That $2,400.
I don't know how this all works exactly, but if we don't get our new tools until first part of next year and then we don't do the refurb until next year, does that make any difference?
Yes, so we would maybe wait to approve the refurbishment until we're ready
Just deal with that when we get
and then just see when it actually falls.
Sounds like it's gonna be 2025 anyway.
we won't do that until we've got tools in everyone's hands and they're trained on it.
Yeah.
So we have a plan?
I mean, if you would prefer that we bring it back next week with everything specifically detailed, we can.
We'll just make a motion to allow the fire districts to go out and get these tools, and we will fund it through lease purchase. That allows them to go ahead and make the commitment to get the order.
If you can have them work through me in your motion.
We'd be happy to. Not to exceed $125,000.
We'll set the dollar, more of a concrete dollar, just so that they can go ahead and pull the trigger.
Well, I would probably recommend setting that limit.
I think 100, I mean, you mentioned 125, without knowing exactly what the shipping is, that should still probably be sufficient, cause that would give us, it should give us a couple thousand.
And if we get the firm number and we realize it's over, then we can always come back and ask for a revision. Next
You
week.
cannot put a limit on it,
Right.
because if those guys suddenly got a inspiration tomorrow night to get a new squad for all the tools to be on,
Yeah.
it's a
I mean,
recipe
I'm gonna
for
say
the-
no, but.
Okay,
Forget that when you're doing this, you have to not know the people.
That's it.
Yeah.
We appreciate the trust.
Yes, we do.
So yes, I will put the not to exceed on my motion of $125,000.
okay, Ashley, you got the concept there?
Yep.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. Discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. I think we finally came to a conclusion here.
I'm big right now, that's way more
I
anticipated.
like the way this works.
Yeah. By the way, I'd like to say I apologize. I'm a terrible public speaker. I did not introduce myself. I am Matt Hine. I'm on the Hillsborough Fire Department. And I brought Matt both with me and Ben Steckity, so. Thank you for your
Captain
time.
Matt Hine.
Yeah.
Is it- well, Matt, we appreciate the work you guys have done to put together. You're trying to get good equipment and do good on a tight budget. And I think we all appreciate that. And
This is
why we-
largely his effort.
that's why we
Largely
want,
falls on Matt Hine.
we want to support that effort.
Appreciate that.
It's just, we're trying to deal with all the.
A lot of moving pieces.
We're gonna get there. All right, thank you. Oh, also, Matt, you had brought up about OSHA regulations.
Oh, yeah, did you get my letter?
Yes, we got your letter. Senator Moran had sent out a note about a month ago with where to send comments.
Okay.
So we're working on Tina will be working with you to help us put together a draft letter to send.
Okay. Yeah, I
So we'll
gladly.
submit comments on those, because we certainly wanna.
I've done the same thing with the National Volunteer Firemen's Council also, and they're sending stuff to Washington also. But yeah, the more you get in with, yeah, the better.
If you could get information to Tina on who to send it to, we have a draft, that would help.
Okay.
So we get the important points.
Sure.
Message, we wanna support that effort.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.
We can talk later this week if that
I'll
works.
get started on,
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, we're about 10 minutes early for Sharon, but if she's.
She's out there.
Since, unless she has other department business, you might wanna wait till your scheduled time for that CUP, since it's,
Is Angie?
Angela's.
She on?
She's on there.
She's online. Oh, Sharon's. Do you have your applicants with
do
you?
you have any,
Yes. Okay.
do you have any concern that we're early? on this
No,
agenda?
I believe our applicants are present.
Okay.
And we have not had any protests, so.
Okay, perfect.
So again, we are about 10 minutes early on the agenda, but if everybody that's interested in the case is here.
I believe so. Okay.
You have the floor, Sharon.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, let me get my paperwork together here. Did you all receive your board packets by email? Okay, excellent. So, The Planning Commission held a public hearing on October 3rd to hear case PC 24-04. This was a request for a conditional use permit to place a secondary residence on a parcel in Marion County. The applicant is Kermit Nickel, and the address of the property in question is 1832 North Meridian with the Canton zip code, but it is in Marion County. So there's a conceptual site plan. The existing house, this existing house was built in 2003 by Mr. and Mrs. Nickel, and then the house that they're proposing to move in is a 1994 home that was built in McPherson County, and you have pictures of that home. It's a 30 by 80 foot single story home with a 2-car garage. And that home is proposed to be moved less than 6 miles, I believe it is. Yeah. From McPherson County. Sorry, let me get over here. Just a little bit of background on this case. This is a 5-generation farm. The original property owner and the family in 1882 was Mr. Nickel's grandfather, and then his father, and now Mr. Nickel and his wife. And the second residence is intended for their children and their children's children. So the family would like to keep the family unit together. The children, their grown children, and their children, which would be Mr. Nickel's grandchildren, wish to help take care of Mr. and Mrs. Nickel as they age on the farm, and also to continue the farming operation and keep it in the family. They have 160 acres, and there's sufficient space for the second residence. They would have separate utilities, including an electric meter and rural water meter, and they would also have a separate address. Both houses would share the existing driveway and the wastewater lagoon. When the original house on the parcel was built, the lagoon was built large enough to have the capacity for the second house. And let's see.
Mine Sharon in there.
Really, that's the gist of this case. We had all positive responses from every landowner that we heard from, including the McPherson County landowners and the McPherson County Planning and Zoning Director. So, do you have any questions? I guess I should add that the Planning Commission also voted unanimously to recommend approval of this conditional use permit.
Yes.
Sure.
Would it make any difference? We know this is a family farm deal, but what if it's not a family farm deal? And you divide land up, and there's other people that want this same thing happening. And I'm just wondering where our regs stand with minimum amount of acres or anything like that.
Right. So you can do a lot split. The minimum acreage for a new residence is 5 acres. But they wish to keep the quarter section intact.
So there's a little difference in what we're doing compared to our rules.
Not necessarily. There's a provision in our rules for a conditional use permit to be able to put this secondary residence on the same parcel.
Basically, the conditional use permit is because they're not doing a lot split. If they were doing a lot split, they wouldn't have to come through all this.
Right.
Thank you. I just want it available for, this is a very good deal, but there's a lot of people want this too. So that's why I was just touching base to make sure that it happens.
So most people do choose to go the route of a lot split and break off like 5 acres or so and then build a new house on that. because that's an administrative approval and it requires a survey and, to be filed and deed transfers and things like that. However, they wish to keep this farm intact. They have, Mr. Nickel has a folder, if you're interested in looking at it. They've received many awards for 100-year farm.
We had my grandmother had a house there also already. I mean, we moved it away, but my grandmother lived on the same property, very, very close to the existing house.
Other questions? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
And there's also, not to throw any confusion in here, but there's also, they could have requested a special exception, but that provision is only if you want to have a mobile home. So they want to have a stick-built home moved onto the property and set on a foundation. So that requires a conditional use according to Article 19 in the zoning regulations.
Any other questions? Not, is there a motion to approve resolution number 2024-23?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Goering and a second by Commissioner Becker. Any other discussion?
Sharon, were there any other special conditions that were noted as part of the recommendation?
No, we're not.
Be sure that was in the record.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. I want to thank the applicants. It's a great thing to support your family. I'm glad this has been able to become possible for you, and we wish you the best.
Want to thank all you guys, really.
thanks for going through the proper channels too. You know, asking for forgiveness sometimes it's like, oh man, you really tied our hands.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Hey, Angie, you're online. Or would you be ready a little early? If you can unmute your microphone. There you are.
I'm muted, but I can't.
Can't hear you.
Ashley's got her master mute on. Oh.
There she is. I see you waving. Now, cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
Your mic's turned on.
I love the puzzled look.
Well, it's usually selecting the right microphone or whatever.
Making sure it's manually turned on.
That or get the phone out and call it in. Use them both.
Yeah, call. Does she have the number?
She muted her, that way you don't get a feedback when she calls. Been down this road. I've
Yeah, you're the experienced one.
playing with 10 devices trying to make something work.
No. You can have her call that number.
Can you message her?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha.
This is weird. I thought I had it on my computer audio, but I guess not. But you can see me? Okay.
Yep.
Well, hi, guys. So thank you, Tina. I'm sorry I kind of did that last minute to you.
No worries.
Okay. So what I'm here today to ask is, or rather, kind of discuss with you guys, if you've heard about the BEAD grant, which is the Broadband Equity and Digital Inclusion Grant that's coming up here. It opens today. The state of Kansas is overseeing that for the broadband department, and it's part of NTIA. So it's a federal grant that they gave money to Kansas, and then Kansas oversees that. So they've released some what they call project funding areas. And we have several in Marion County that we're looking at doing. So I would just, I guess, coming to ask you about those and see if it would be possible to get a letter of support for those if we decide to go for those areas. I have them on my computer, but I don't know if I can show you my computer or not.
We'll make you a presenter.
Okay. I could try, yeah, when I go to share, it says I'm still, there I am, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna share. Okay. Window. Here we go. Boy, my screen's jumping. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay. So, these are, so just to give you an idea, here's all of Kansas. So that's how they've divided it up. Crazy, huh? So anyway, if we hone in here into Marion County, this green area, which they call Project Funding Area 97, would be one of the ones we'll want to look at. And then this one here, which is 98, would be one, and that goes clear, I think clear up to here. No, that's 40, my bad. So 98 goes clear over to here and here. So we are talking with Home Telephone about, you know, some of their area too over here. You can do different things. You can do a consortium, or we can just do an interconnection agreement with them for those. So we are in the process of talking to them about that. Then there's one up here on 98 that's around the Durham area, and it again kind of goes over into, or excuse me, 40, my bad. These are close in color, sorry. So it kind of goes, it's the same kind of thing. They've kind of dispersed it out through, you know, very different areas. So anywhere that you see doesn't have color in it, they're considering all those areas as served. Okay, so they're not eligible for any grant funds. I know sometimes you and I know the difference, and we know they're not actually served that well, but they've had challenged process for quite a while now, so they've deemed those as served. And so the last place we're looking at here is this area 244 right here, which I think the railroad track is the line, because this is a different one. So anyway, so those are the project areas we're looking at, and I would just ask if we decide to do that the commissioners, I guess, if you would go ahead and say that you would provide a letter of support saying that if we decide to do those, you know, kind of in the past, we've talked about monetary support. That might not necessarily be the case this time. It may be more of just, you know, permitting and things like that. Of course, anything you guys have that you'd want to donate toward projects, that's great. But right now we're just starting with a letter saying, yes, we support TCW, going ahead and writing that grant, and that, you know, we'll work with them on easements and things like that. Any questions? That was fast, I know.
Questions for Angie?
No, I think we just need to get her whatever documentation she needs so she can keep going.
Okay. All right. And I would be happy if any of you one-on-one want to look at this map in detail. It's a KMZ, so it's on Google Earth. So I would be happy to, like, you know, do a virtual meeting. And if you want to hone into your area that you serve, I could show you where, you know, where they're saying is served, not served. Because as you get down, I'll just use Durham as an example. As you get down here, I know that we have a lot of customers out in this area that have talked to us that say, hey, they'd like fiber, but as you see, they're saying they're served. And then we have this area here that we've actually built fiber to that we challenged, but for some reason it didn't make it to the last map. So that's another thing we'll have to do through the FCC later on. Parts of Durham are that way too. But anyway, it's not perfect like all broadband maps. It's just an imperfect, it's a continually living, breathing thing that we're trying to get right. So anyway, but that's where I'm here today.
Well, the more fiber spots you get on there and the less of those locations that are eligible, the better off we are. So I'm all in favor of writing a letter of support.
Okay, got a motion? Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Gehring to write a letter of support to TCW for their grant applications, underserved area for fiber. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker, especially if it gets to his area. Discussion?
No, she said it wasn't.
I know it isn't, I'm sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Let
Thank
us
you,
know
guys.
when
Appreciate it.
and what we can do.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Since you're running ahead, I'll just show you real quick. So this grant before that you guys helped us with, we got it, the BAG, which is broadband acceleration. We're going to start working on that pretty soon. Yay. Thank you, guys.
That's the reason why it's not on the list.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Angie.
Bye-bye. You bet.
Just keep chipping away and finally get.
We're fortunate we have a local company and so they're here.
Yes. They have a stake.
Yeah.
Definite stake. All right, next item on the agenda is the 30-30 discussion. We're early on that one. Brad and Tina, do you think we can go ahead and proceed?
Because those times are always listed as approximate, so.
Okay. Commission has had a chance to review the letter. We're open for discussion. Commissioner Dalkey.
I just felt that due to the calls that I had, what their discussion was with me on the phone and stuff, that the letter of intent is the same things as the resolution, more or less. I mean, appears it identically. And when you talk like she did earlier today about CRP and stuff like that, why, that was what some of the constituents on the phone wanted to do, said, let us not worry about that and stuff. And so I think I myself, when I bought some ground that had CRP, I got out of it as quick as I could because I didn't like what I saw from the government. So I know that there's nobody here who wants the government to take over anything that we do like that. And so I just feel until we see more things of what's coming out of that, till we can put a resolution right down to the nitty gritty or stuff, that was my reason for not voting for it.
It's still perplexing to me, though. How many months have we dealt with this? How many people have spoke to us? We have a public meeting. You know, we had one individual that wanted to do a conservation easement, which we wouldn't stand in the way. But we have not heard anything from anybody that's getting phone calls. Are they scared to talk to us? Are they scared to get on Zoom? To me, that's a huge issue, Randy. It really is. And a statement, wow, you might as well pour water down the sink as to have a statement.
You can do it, you can override a resolution just like you can a statement, same thing.
No, it's not. Brad, it's not.
No, they're different. I mean, that's true. It's just a question.
Explain.
Yeah, a resolution obviously is the legislative function that you guys perform in terms of at the county level, like the city level with ordinances, that is your legislative tool. When you do those, and that's part of the reason for the discussion that we've had all this time, if you place something in that, you potentially put yourself into a situation where you're going to enforce something. When we discuss the potential for unintended consequences, and I don't mean that on one side of it or the other, is, and I think that was Sharon's concern as well, in some ways when we put it in place, you're saying, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We pulled that back quite a bit in the resolution so that you weren't boxing yourself in with, okay, this does come through, we're compelled to oppose certain things, even if it's a situation where case by case we wouldn't necessarily want to do that. So, you know, it has greater weight to the extent that it is a statement of more than policy to you.
Plus, we've already had 29 county legal councils that have poured over this stuff for the last 2 years. We got 28, last I checked, 28 counties that have resolutions. So it's not like details have not been, every detail of this has been unearthed. There ain't any blind spots left in it.
Speak on both sides of this here. So I mean, if it was truly the same thing as a policy statement, I don't know why we didn't vote for the resolution. That said, I'd rather have something than nothing. So.
Yeah, but I'd rather have,
Right.
we're still gonna have nothing with a statement.
Well, we've taken positions on other issues through a policy statement or letter to legislators. There is a definite difference between the letter and the resolution. And that's my concern, as I've stated from day one. I have a concern with unintended consequences from the resolution. And that's what Sharon has warned us about. I'm staying with my original position that we need to write the letter of opposition. And that's what my constituents have told me.
That's what comes.
Every week we have constituents in that are proponents of it. And I'm still sitting here waiting for that person to come in. You heard Brandy there this morning, this afternoon. He's not been the first.
Back in the 30s, because that's where this was.
Okay, I would make the motion to send the letter, the draft that was submitted last week by the administrator for our review. Send that letter to our congressmen and their U.S. senators.
I would second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
That doesn't stop us from doing a resolution down the road.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Nay. Motion carried 4-1. Commissioner Becker opposed. So Tina, if you could give us that letter next week for signatures.
Okay.
All right, with that, ready for property acquisition executive session. Brad, how long would you like?
I would say maybe probably 10 minutes.
10? Okay. I move that we recess to executive session in order to discuss preliminary property acquisition pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, which is item 6, preliminary discussion acquisition of real estate with Commission Brad and Tina for 10 minutes. And that will be from 1:43 to 1:53. Second by Commissioner Gehring. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Back at 1:53.
Okay, we're on.
Okay, we are out of executive session. No decisions made. We need 2 more executive sessions.
I didn't even look at her. I just seen the hand fall.
Well, we waited to bundle them at least. Personnel on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think that should be plenty of time.
I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel, potential employment candidates pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel with the Commission Brad and Tina for 10 minutes, 1:53 to 2:03. Second by Commissioner Gehring. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Back at 2:03.
Okay.
We're out of executive session. No decisions made. We need to have 1 more executive session. This one's on potential litigation. I move that we recess to executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with Commission Brad and Tina for 15 minutes, 2:05 to 2:20. Second by Commissioner Dahlke. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Back at 2:20.
Sorry, you said 5 minutes?
Okay.
Okay, we are out of executive session. No decisions made. Brad, did you have anything else?
No, sir, that's the extent of today.
All right, any commission comments? If not, our next meeting is Monday the 28th at 12:30. Payday on the 31st at 9 a.m.
And the thing tonight.
Regional
It's not a
Commissioner.
meeting, but it's a,
Right.
it's a meeting.
5:30 council.
Anybody taking the county car here from here?
I can drive.
I need to be logged in so I can do my CDDO meeting in the truck, on the way.
All right, if there's nothing else, I move to adjourn. Second by Commissioner Dalkey. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned.